What is going on, everybody? It's your boy Chase, aka CR Media. I am here with my good friend, Cool McCain. Cool, how you doing tonight, sir?
I'm pumped, man. I'm super pumped.
Absolutely, man. 10 matches later, um, four and a half, or 3.5 hours later. Um, it gets wild. So Key Williams, Key was actually streaming the show. And then now she's over here checking us out on the post show. Appreciate
Absolutely.
Hunter Dillon, man. Appreciate you joining us on YouTube, brother. And then Jake says, "What's up, fellas?"
What's going on, Jake?
Jake. Hey, man. Jake, I'll tell you what, man. There ain't nothing I love more than seeing Jake's burly mustache and those pearly whites, man. But tomorrow, Jake, that smile is going to go upside down when the Chiefs come into Los Angeles and spank the Chargers. So I figured I'd get that out right now for you.
What's
Um,
up, Ty?
Ty says, "What's up, Chase and Cool?" So this show's a little bit different, man. We do an AEW Dynamite post show on Wednesday nights after Dynamite. This is kind of the theme there, but you and I have we're no stranger to this. We did a watch along for Clash at the Castle,
Yes, we did.
and I think we got something in the works for a watch along for Survivor Series next Saturday too. Correct?
Absolutely, we do, sir. Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. So kind of getting into the show. Um, I always like to ask, what your initial reaction was to it.
So I like the show, man. One of the things I feel like AEW does really well, they hype what's happening. They give you good in ring action. Story sometimes is a little wonky, but it normally makes sense in the end. Um, they kind of set things up a little late for some things, but they do a good job of at least giving you something to follow. And that's some of the things I really like about AEW.
Absolutely, absolutely. I love that they do a lot of their storytelling in the ring. Which is what kind of has drawn me to being a fan of them.
Yeah,
Sometimes the on-screen stories are a little, but like I said, I definitely can dig uh, the stories they tell inside the ring. Key says, "See, cool, you ready for bed?" I'm going to be honest with you, Key. I was the one that messaged Cool and was like, "Hey, man, this event probably isn't going to end until midnight your time, and we've got 10 matches. Are you still ready?" And he was like, "I'm ready." I was like, "All right, let's do
all day.
it." So, getting into the first match, we had a 10-man tag team match. The best friends against the Factory during the 0 hour. That's what they call their pre-shows on YouTube. Um,
Yep.
the Factory, man, I'll tell you what, the Factory, I'm not a fan of QT Marshall. Not a fan of a couple of the other guys that they got on um, the Factory. But I'll tell you what, Lee Johnson, Cole
Big
Carter,
Scotty. Yeah.
yeah, they are. I think they've got some good talent. But over on the best friends side, we saw All Atlantic champion Orange Cassidy, Rocky Romero, the best friends, and then the surprise partner was a returning Danhausen,
Hmm.
almost repackaged, if you will, which is cool for me, man, because here in the Midwest, Danhausen was a staple in the independent circuit, and he's really good. And was a big ticket, guy here, here on the indie scene and whatnot. So I thought going into AEW, he'd get a little bit of love, especially because Tony Khan seems to like those indie darlings, and that hasn't been the case, man. He's been kind of a joke a little bit, kind of like a ha ha he he kind of guy, and especially like running around with Hook. he made it seem like he was the little brother who talked smack, and Hook was the the big brother, the big cousin that was going to protect him. And I was like, this just doesn't seem so. Hopefully, I don't know. He came out and he kind of got that big pop and kind of rushed the ring and cleaned house, if you will. So I don't know, man. I'm hoping that they do more with Danhausen. So
Yeah, man. I love when you have guys that you actually give an opportunity to. That's a big
yeah,
thing for me. Just give guys a real opportunity. If they can get over, then rock with them. If they can't, man, then hey, we know what it is. But you got to give them the opportunity. And
yeah,
Danhausen definitely wasn't used, I feel, properly. There's a lot of people that haven't been used properly, right? It's so much talent that AEW has, and they want to get as many people on screen as they can every week throughout what they do, dark, elevation, and all the different stuff. But you've got to get guys on those main shows that people watch. I mean, I'm honest, I don't watch dark, right? Like, I mean, I don't have the time,
yeah.
but I'll watch Rampage, I'll watch Dynamite. So you need guys on there, and I love how they incorporate it by talking about their records. I love that they actually keep up with the records. So it's really a very important thing because it's how you can suck in the other shows that everybody may not watch.
Absolutely. I one of the record things has always been like a big thing. I know they seem to catch a lot of flack for it, but um, you know it, because sometimes guys will jump the rankings. The fact that they even have a ranking system in general, obviously, if you get a well known guy come in, it just makes sense money wise and for the entertainment wise for them to skip the line almost. Um, to bring in a guy like Brian Danielson and have him work from the bottom all the way up. It's kind of silly.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, the next match, which I was a huge fan of, is the World Title Eliminator Tournament semifinal between Brian Cage and Ricky Starks. Um, and man, I'm telling you what, dude, I absolutely love Ricky Starks. And the dude just has so much charisma. He's got so much star power, and I thought with the way they kind of did him against Powerhouse Hobbs, how Hobbs just kind of demolished him and whatnot when they split up. I thought this was going to kind of be the same thing, but it wasn't the case. We got to watch him clean pin Brian Cage,
Hmm.
which I know a lot of people aren't real happy about, or a lot of people aren't real happy that Brian Cage gets clean pinned all the time and
Way too
whatnot.
much. Way too much.
Yeah, absolutely. I was a big Brian Cage fan on Lucha Underground,
Yeah.
and so they, like I said, I know a lot of people aren't real happy about it, but I think Ricky deserves it. Um, whether he loses to Ethan Page is another story. We'll find out about that, but like I said, I thought this match was good, and I thought Ricky getting the clean pin was nice for a change.
Yeah. I just Brian, like you just said, man, Brian Cage is a bigger deal than they're allowing him to be in AEW. You got to find a way to rebuild him now. Like he needs to be shout out Jeremy. He needs to be dominant, right? He doesn't have to win all the time, but he has to be dominant. He doesn't ever really look like the dominant guy that Brian Cage was in Lucha Underground or in Impact Wrestling. He just looks like another guy. Him and Miro should be much higher on the card than they are. They don't necessarily have to have championships, but there should be a lot of high profile matches with those guys in it. They got the look, they got the everything. They're just not getting an opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's crazy because I know, like, I read a wild stat just like a month ago where Brian Cage went like 4 months straight without being booked on Dark or Elevation or Dynamite or Rampage or anything, and he was still under contract. Like, and it's just like, wow, like, you know, it's you got to start using these guys.
It's too
You
many.
got to
It's too many people.
yeah,
It's
you've got 120 people under contract. You got to start using them. You know, so
they've got to split Ring of Honor off in those championships and allow them to have their own show. That's the first thing
Yep.
that they need to do.
Yeah, I think they're talking about doing that after they're going to do a December pay per view for Ring of Honor,
Yeah, they
and then
should.
they said starting 2023, um, they're going to look and announce a some sort of streaming or TV or whatever deal that they can come up with.
They can't
I
have
wouldn't even
blood
mind.
lines.
I I can't. You know, I I wouldn't even care if it was on YouTube, like an exclusive to YouTube. Um, you know, I I think it's going to be really hard for ROH to get like a full time TV deal if you keep ROH the way it was. You know, the pure wrestling, the all that stuff.
That's
Um,
true.
keep it the minimal stories, stuff like that. It's going to be really hard for a network to go, oh yeah, that'll really put a lot of people in front of the TV. So I don't know. Like I said, I wouldn't mind seeing a YouTube or there's been talks of HBO Max or whatever. Um,
Thursday would be a good day.
it would
Thursday
be.
night football is trash anyway, so
Heard that. Wish I didn't, but I did. Um, yeah. Kyle says, "What's up, guys?"
what's up, Kyle?
I want to highlight this a little bit. Jeremy is not a wrestling watcher. At least on the regular. I mean, the few times that like we've brought it up, prior to like the Sunday morning drive and stuff like that, Jeremy
Yeah.
would be like, "Oh yeah, I remember back in 1987 or 1988 when WrestleMania 3 was at the Pontiac Silverdome." And I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, that was the year I was born, Jeremy."
A real long time ago.
and and then for him to come in here and be like, "Has Regal not ever turned on a partner in wrestling?" Yeah, that's that got me a little bit, Jeremy. I liked it. We had Eddie Kingston against Akiyama. Um, Before the match, man, Eddie was super super emotional. There's been a lot of like legendary figures in Japan who've been a part of like strong style and mixed martial arts and obviously wrestling over there in Japan, where
Yeah.
wrestling over in Japan is treated as a sport, not
Mm-hmm.
a TV show,
Right.
kind of like that Ring of Honor thing that we talked about, and so. He took a moment to kind of show love and respect to some of those guys that passed
Yeah.
away, and um, I absolutely love Eddie Kingston's fighting style, man. He just it's crazy because like when Eddie Kingston will cut a promo or when Eddie Kingston's in the ring, I have a hard time. Like I have to remind myself, like yo, like he's playing a character, and even then, I might be lying to myself because
yeah.
I don't know, man. There's just something about Eddie Kingston that just feels so genuine
Yeah.
when he's in the ring and outside of the ring. So um, definitely.
Yeah.
Key.
Whether he's playing a good guy, a bad guy, tweener, crazy, whatever he's doing, man, it just feels like it's a part of him, right? Like it's
Yep.
some part of like who he really is that he's just accentuating for the character. And I think that's what makes
Yep.
it so genuine for everybody to see. I mean, I love Eddie Kingston too, man. I loved it when he was in Impact before. When I saw him in other wrestling promotions, I came across him, man. He's just like you say, he's just a genuine guy, and he looks like a regular dude. He's not like a super buff guy or anything. He's just a regular
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah. Love Eddie Kingston, and he came away with the victory.
Yeah.
Um, it was funny. He got on the microphone and rambled on a bunch of stuff, and then finally uh, he was like, "Hey guys, it's 7:54. Order the damn pay per view."
Absolutely.
um, so then we started off the show. The pre show was free on YouTube. Then we started the actual pay per view, and we kicked off the actual pay per view with a steel cage match between Jungle Boy Jack Perry and Luchasaurus.
Hmm.
Talk to me about this match a little bit.
Brutal match. It's what it had to be. You could not have a cage match between these two guys and it not be brutal. Like it had to be um,
Yep.
very violent. The K is used a lot, weapons used, and everything. I think they executed it great. The right guy got the win. You have to think about the fact that one guy is a babyface, right? And he's been
Yep.
getting dogged this whole time. So there has to be some comeuppance for the bad guys. And you got that within the match. Um, with the win. You still had Luchasaurus look like a dominant monster. So they can finish this rivalry. They can go their separate ways. And they both look better individually than they did coming into the beginning of this feud. And that's what you wanted. At some point, Jungle Boy just couldn't be, Luchasaurus's partner. And, Luchasaurus just couldn't be the happy dinosaur. We knew Luchasaurus
Yeah.
was going to end up being this dark, evil, bad guy. Christian Cage is the perfect manager for him, part-time partner. He can go and do his thing, get some championships, and then Jungle Boy can be the lovable, good guy who can just climb the ranks slowly but surely and get that big payoff in the end.
Yeah, the slowly but surely part I like that you said, cool man, because
Mm-hmm.
On the Dynamite post show, man, I've been super critical of how AEW has handled the Jungle Boy Jack Perry situation, especially with a guy like Christian who's pushing 50, and you got a guy like Christian who comes in and he's taking clean wins over Jungle Boy Jack Perry, especially like right before he goes out with injury. Like I mean, like the facade's up, like we know, like especially you and I, we're both smart to the fact that
Yeah.
the curtain pulls behind. When you've got a veteran who's almost 50 years old and he's coming in and he's clean pinning or clean beating one of your pillars of the future.
Yep.
It didn't sit well with me. But I thought this match was, just like Key said, it was a great opening match.
Mm-hmm.
I think it showcased, that Jungle Boy when it's 1-on-1, Jungle Boy can pull the victory through and he can do whatever it takes. And they got violent, they got crazy, and it was lots of fun and it was a great opening match. So um,
Love the
the
ending too, by the way. Love the ending.
absolutely. Absolutely. Um, this next match, I've been extremely critical about, and I still kind of am. It is what it is. Uh, the Elite versus Death Triangle in a trios match for the trios championships. Um, like I said, I've been extremely vocal about this. Those trios championships were created for the Elite, for Kenny and the Bucks. It's the only reason they made them. It was an EVP decision. Um, they were planning on being the first and most dominant ones because they help run the company. And when they got stripped of them after the media scrum last month or a couple months ago, I guess it's been a couple months now.
Yeah, it actually
Um,
has. Crazy, right?
yeah. Then they obviously they iron out everything with Tony Khan. They come back. They come back early from suspension because Kenny and the Bucks actually knocked out their dates all the way up until January when they were first suspended. So they actually so that tells me that suspension was retracted. They come back. They get Cole Cabana rehired or brought back in.
Boom, boom.
Um, boom boom. They get their match against Death Triangle. They get their grand entrance. They get the whole 9 yards. And the fact that Death Triangle still won, I was a huge fan of. It was a good finish. It because obviously, like I said, it was made to look like the Elite came in with all the momentum,
Mm-hmm.
and for Death Triangle to come through with a win like that, kind of like sizzled out the momentum and made it to be the only sensible way that they could lose after the big return and the big entrance and the goofy stuff that they did and all that. So
Hey, Ray Phoenix finally listened. Use that hammer, baby.
yeah, he was
You gotta listen. You gotta listen. The
yep,
bastard knows what he's doing. That's why he's a bastard. He knows what he's doing.
yep,
You
yep.
know, yeah, I was when I saw the match, I was like when I heard all the rumors, I'm like, they better lose because this should be part of their punishment, right? Your scrum, okay, we let you come back early, we let you, get a big spot on the pay-per-view, but you're not gonna win. What's
Lennon,
going
how
on,
are you,
Lennon?
sir?
I just feel like, if you put the
Yeah,
guys in that position after what happened, they have to lose.
Yeah.
They have to go through like a long period of time before they're allowed to have championships. Because one of the
Yeah.
things is we don't want to see, I'm sorry, but we don't want to see the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega with the trios titles. They lose them, the Young Bucks get the tag team titles, Kenny Omega gets the TNT title or the AEW championship. We cannot continue to have those guys always hanging at the top of the card. You got all these other talents. AEW
Yeah.
has not missed a beat without them. So that tells you that you're not needed to be main players anymore.
Yep.
Um, it's great that some of the young guys are starting to get recognized with some of the guys that were lower on the roster. Like Death Triangle's been around for a while, but Death Triangle hasn't got a lot of love, and they really are only getting this love because of the scrum, because they never would have been
Yeah.
the Trios Championships champions without that. So just happy to see them because I like Death Triangle, right? I've always been a
Yeah.
fan of the Bastard Pac. I mean, his name's
Yeah.
Bastard. How can you not be a fan of somebody's name is the Bastard? And then you got boys Cerro Medio, and then Ray Phoenix. It's a great trio, man. That's a trio that the championship should have actually been made for to begin with.
Yep.
That's what we should have been looking at. Them best friends, Dark Order. Those are who these championships should be for.
Absolutely. House of Black.
Yes, they need
Um,
it, and we need them back.
yeah. My good friend, my co-host on the Wednesday Night Dynamite post show, Anthony Blackwell Jr. Appreciate you joining tonight, sir.
Absolutely.
Um, yeah, man. So like I said, just kind of the whole thing kind of left a bad taste in my mouth. I was just like, like I'm not hyped to see these guys come back. I'm not, you know,
Yeah.
I mean, like it was a great match. There's no denying the talent that the Bucks and Kenny's have. It's just like I said, it was you know the way that they kind of push that in there of, hey, like we're going to have um, we're going to have them come in, look super cool, and look possibly win. I was like, I don't know if I agree with this. So like I said, I thought the ending was great, and I thought they did a good job on that.
Yeah.
The next match, the TBS Championship match, Jade Cargill versus Nyla Rose.
I love Jade Cargill, and she's so freaking hot. So I was just happy that she was out in the match, dude. Like I love Jade Cargill, but
Well, like my thing is, man, like she just has like a look, like a presence, like, and
yes.
I know that's been kind of hammered and beaten to death, where uh uh like everybody said it, she's just got the look, but man, she does. I mean, it's hard to deny it. So much so that yeah, like she doesn't have like the best in ring ability, but that's why Daniel Bryan or Brian Danielson said, hey, like I'll train her, like I'll work with her, like because there's no denying that she has just that star power. So
Hmm.
yeah, no, I love me some Jade Cargill too. I felt like this match was kind of pointless. This match could have been on the pre-show, um, because uh, you know
Yeah.
there
If we
was there
weren't going
was
to give it
no
more time and like really like let Jade and Nyla really go at it, then you might as well put it
yeah,
on the pre-show.
yeah. So, um, anything else on this one?
Jade looked really good in her outfit. I want to say that.
That Thundercats one, man. I
Oh
thought
yeah.
it was I thought it was super cool when she came. I like when I saw the stick. I was like, is it another? I was like, I know that's not a Mortal Kombat character, is it? And I was like, at least I don't think it is. And then when I saw when she got closer and stuff, I was like, oh, okay, that's it's Thundercats. So
Yep. The first time I thought in my mind was Thundercats. It was great. I thoroughly enjoyed seeing her in the Chitara outfit. And Chitara was, for a cartoon, was not bad on the eyes either. So great way to pick
absolutely,
the right person. So
absolutely. So the next match we've got here. is the Fatal 4-Way for the ROH Championship. Um, uh, Fatal 4-Way, you got Sammy Guevara, Chris Jericho, um, Claudio Castagnoli, and Bryan Danielson. Um, I I feel like they're waiting to take that title off of Jericho until the ROH pay per view or until after ROH gets a deal. Um,
They've got to keep him there till they get a deal because
yep,
he's the name. He's a
yep,
bargaining chip.
yep, yeah. I mean, who are you going to sell as the face of the company? You know, Chris Jericho or Claudio Castagnoli? Nothing against Claudio Castagnoli,
I
nothing.
agree.
But
He'd be a great champ
um,
once he beats Chris Jericho.
David, appreciate you watching from Cedar Hill, Texas, my friend.
Okay.
Where's Cedar Hill? Cedar Hill at? Sounds familiar, but yeah, do you think that they're going to go anywhere with the split between Sammy and Jericho?
What I'd like to see, and this is far fetched, so I'll start off by saying that, is I would like to see Sammy do a turn and join the Blackpool Combat Club. That's what I'd like to
Really?
see. I would like to see Sammy in the Blackpool Combat Club. Him and Taya Mello. I'd like to see that. I think that would be interesting because we get to see a better side of Sammy. Sammy right now sucks, right? Sammy's a
Agree.
great wrestler, but his whole persona sucks. You know, he goes out, he starts to do his thing, he gets TNT champion, and then what does he do? He ends up as Jericho's lackey again.
Yeah, like and that sucks because Sammy's obviously extremely talented, um, and uh, yeah, I could not agree more. So David Burns says Cedar Hill is about 20 minutes away from Dallas, Texas. I used to I used to stay in Louisville, Texas, which is about 20 minutes away from Dallas. So
Cool, cool, cool.
it's cool. It's Cool's favorite sports city is Dallas, Texas.
If you believe that, you definitely pay
I'm
no
just
attention to me.
I'm definitely yeah. I'll tell you what, man. I know this is off track, but I like talk. Anytime I can talk trash on Dallas Cowboy fans, I'm gonna do it. Um,
I'm always here for
I
that.
was I was never a Dallas Cow. Like I could care two. I could care like you could take two shits and rub them together, and I still could care less about the Dallas Cowboys. But then, like when I moved down there, um, you know, everybody was like, "Oh, who's your favorite team?" And I'd be like, "The Chiefs," and they would dog on me like I was a Philadelphia fan, and I'd be like, "Oh, okay, all right, now I hate y'all."
Yeah. Hey, I mean,
David says the Cowboys suck. Yes, they do.
Dallas hates us. Everybody really hates the Eagles, so it's fine, man. We just,
So,
you know, the hate just turns into love. We just feel like it's really just hidden love. Like you really just love us, and you hate us because you're mad that you love us. That's how we feel.
hey man, let me tell you something. Uh, Gene, I was giving Gene stuff one night um, in the chat and talked about, he was like, I said something. I was like, really, Philly fans? And I was like, weren't you all the ones that threw batteries at Santa Claus? And then he was like, number one, do you even know the story behind that? And I was like, no. And he was like, well, for one, he was like, Santa Claus showed up drunk and was being rude and crude to women in front of the children and was being rude to the children and stuff like that. And that's why people threw. I was like, oh, okay. All right.
Hey,
So
man, I'm just one of those people. I say, hey, yeah, we threw batteries at Santa Claus, and what?
keep talking. We'll start throwing batteries at you.
At you. You could be the new Santa Claus.
That's
Is that
right.
what you really want?
um, so it looks like, like I said, kind of just piggyback and kind of in this fatal 4-way match. Looks like we're getting some sort of of friction between Sammy Guevara and
Yeah.
Jericho. Hopefully, Sammy Guevara can finally go into his own. Um, Although he's probably one of the most, if not the most hated person in AEW right now, which is
Th-
crazy.
That's why the perfect thing to do is turn him and put him in the Blackpool Combat Club.
You know,
He would be a
I can
great
see.
tag team partner for Willer Yuta, and they could run Rhea H tag team for a while. Because somebody's got to finally get all the belts off FTR. They can't keep walking around with like 80 sets of belts.
Yeah. So the next match, Soraya versus Britt Baker. Soraya stepping into the ring for the first time in 6 years. So this was kind of emotional for her. Um, and I'm not shocked that she got the win,
Not at all.
but what I will ask you is do you think that Soraya is going to continue? Do you think Soraya and Britt are going to continue this feud, or is Britt going to move on to something else?
I hope she moves on to something else. This was a good introductory match for Soraya. And by the way, Soraya is another woman that I think is super hot. I love the accent, the pale skin, everything about Soraya. So I just want to say that as well. Soraya and Jade Cargo. That's my ladies. But from AEW. But so with Soraya, I'd like to see her not wrestle as much as first, right? And just kind of, be there. Main attraction, big pay-per-views or big ticket matches, but not really chasing championships or anything yet. Let's just see how she holds up with like a light schedule.
Yep.
Because coming back from a major injury, same thing that kind of happened with Daniel Bryan when he returned. And Edge, right? You don't want those people wrestling like on a regular basis. Just to make it more of a one-off thing or special
Yep. Special
special
attraction
appearance.
kind of thing.
Yeah, and you
Yep.
need Britt Baker every week, right? You need Britt Baker starting with somebody every week. We know what's happening. We know what's happening next, right? Jamie Hayter is the world champion. I know there's another
Yep.
match down the road, but we know what's
Yep.
happening. Britt Baker wants to be champion. This is Jamie
Yep.
Hayter's face turn coming.
Yep. Absolutely. It's the it's got it written all over it. I think her and Tony Storm will have another rematch. Um, I don't. I'll be honest with you. I don't think Thunder Rosa's coming back. Um, I think they may officially strip her of the title in the next couple of weeks, or they may announce that she's been released from the company in the next couple of weeks. Um, but because there's a lot of talk of her faking an injury and all kinds of stuff. So um, I think they're going to move on. Obviously, I think they were holding out for Tony Storm versus Thunder Rosa again. But I think they're going to move on, and I agree. I think they're going to have one more against Tony Storm and Jamie Hayter. After that, you're going to see Britt and Rebby turn um, on Jamie, and we'll get a Britt Baker versus Jamie Hayter um, title story.
Yeah,
So
and you could
uh,
easily insert Soraya into that.
absolutely. So TMT Championship match: Wardlow versus Samoa Joe versus Powerhouse Hobbs. Um, I, I'll tell you what, man. I didn't hate this match, and uh, I really thought I would. I was not interested in it in any way, shape, or form. I thought, you know, that I thought I thought it was going to kind of be a squash match. Usually three big guys like that, you're kind of used to the way WWE has kind of conditioned you to believe that big guys can't go longer than 10 minutes. And,
Right.
I thought these guys did a good job. I'm a little confused about Samoa Joe winning. But I
That
mean,
was the wrong move.
overall, it was still a good match. Watching Wardlow try to do a whisper in the wind was um,
Interesting.
that was very interesting. Do you know what? Anytime I see a big guy try to do a move like that, do you know what I always think of?
What's that?
WrestleMania 19 when Brock Lesnar tried to do a shooting star press off the top rope to Kurt Angle and landed. I mean, his butt, like when he landed on his neck, like his butt bended down to his head. I'll never forget that, dude. And then I found out later in life that Brock Lesnar actually used to do a shooting star press all the time when he was in development in OVW. But he was already concussed in this match against Kurt, and he was like, "Screw it, I'm still gonna do it," and climbs up there and does a shooting star press. So, like, that's what I think of every single time I see big guys try to pull off moves like that. I'm like, "Oh man!"
I
So,
think of Vader, because Vader was an athletic big guy, right? So
man,
I like Vader, man. Think about Vader bombs and the backflips and everything that Vader used to do.
yeah. MJF should keep the belt for a while now because I don't see another wrestler. I don't either for the time being. I think that MJF should keep it for a while.
And
Um,
thank God they got the bet off John Moxley. I really like John Moxley, but you can't be the champ forever, dude.
yeah, agreed, agreed.
Now I hate the
Um,
ending. I hate the ending of this triple threat match. Powerhouse Hobbs should have won the belt. Um, we don't need Samoa Joe having a Ring of Honor and a AEW championship.
yeah, when he's wrestling on a part time schedule, anyways.
Yeah, Wardlow should have lost because it's time for Wardlow to step up. Like, you know,
Yeah,
Wardlow should have gotten hit by Samoa Joe. Powerhouse Hobbs should have pulled Joe off and got the pin.
yeah,
Um, I think the Wardlow losing the belt was the right thing in a triple threat match because no one's going to beat him one on one for what you built Wardlow to be. But this was your chance to get off and get a belt on Powerhouse Hobbs, and that's what should have happened.
absolutely, absolutely. And it's crazy because like I said, Samoa Joe winning now, and he's got two titles, and he's already kind of on a part time schedule as it is. It's like,
So,
okay, you know, I understand him having the ROH championship, like I said, to kind of
yeah.
have that name of Samoa Joe on a second tier championship there in ROH. But to put the TNT championship on him, it just, like I said, it didn't make much sense at the time, and I'm still kind of scratching my head at it. Um, you know, I agree. I think the wrong guy won. I think you could have had Will Hobbs win, and
Powerhouse.
yes,
Love
you could
that
have
kid.
had Yeah, you could have had Will Hobbs win and run back another feud with him and Ricky,
Mm-hmm.
or
Yep.
I mean, a bunch of stuff that Will Hobbs could have done. And then I I hate to say it, but um, you could have Wardlow eventually, not right away, but eventually turn his focus to the new champ. So
But
since
first, they have to
we
deal with Samoa Joe.
Well, yeah, exactly. First, he's had to deal with Samoa Joe and stuff like that. But to say that we didn't get a fair ending to that feud would be an understatement. Um, so the next match we've got here, man, I had to remind myself that it's 2022. Cool, and I'm watching a match with Sting, Jeff Jarrett. Um, very interesting. Uh, I'm not. I'm not a. I'm not a Darby Allen fan. I think he's. I think he's a Jeff Hardy ripoff. Can just. I mean, it's very entertaining. I mean, his pain tolerance is extremely high. Um, uh, was that tonight, David, or was that like
But what
again?
is, I guess, to go further, what is his? I know that happened a while ago. I think he's talking about.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay. Okay.
it's yeah. I mean, there's no nice way to put it. Um, Darby's not a AEW championship material, right? I mean, tag
Yeah.
team champion, okay, TNT championship, okay, but he's not like a He's not a guy I see as like a future AEW champion, right?
And it's unfortunate because I mean, like we all said the same thing about Jeff for the longest time.
Slap nuts
Um,
himself.
yeah.
He wasn't.
Uh, no, no, I meant like Jeff Hardy. Uh,
Oh,
definitely
what
not.
you talking about?
Definitely not
Slap
this.
nuts.
Definitely, yeah, definitely not slap nuts. Um, you know, I'll be honest with you. I've never been a Jeff Jarrett fan. Um, I'm sure if I go back and watch some of his stuff, I'll probably appreciate him a little bit more than what I did when I was younger. I'll tell you, my TV immediately went to mute when I heard that same garbage ass theme song that he used in TNA.
It's always,
Immediately went to mute.
it's
Oh
always
my
been
gosh,
garbage.
always been garbage.
It is
As
not
soon
your world,
as
sir.
yeah.
You're not even a
um,
squirrel.
but yeah, man, I just I'm confused by the, you know, I guess for nostalgic fans, maybe that was cool. Um, I'll tell you what, I absolutely, um, I absolutely love watching Sting's 60-something-year-old ass just go out there and do wild and crazy stuff. Um, it's nuts to me, man. I mean, I'm 34 years old, and you couldn't. You'd have to pay me a lot of money to do what Sting's out there doing.
I'm sure they're paying him a
Uh,
lot of money to do it too.
yeah, I heard that.
Yeah,
It says David is in here and he's active. We'll bring up his question. He says, "Do you think Trina can go toe to toe with Jade Cargill for the TNT Women's Champion?"
no.
I think 20 years ago Trina
I
could have
think
could have
I
gone
think
toe
she
to
could be a
toe.
baddie.
Yeah.
That's what I think she could be.
Which is what she wound up being, didn't she?
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's right. That's right. I don't remember. I don't think that was on. That wasn't on Dynamite. That was on Rampage.
I can't remember where it was.
Yeah.
Um, I know the whoever it was that she was helping, one of Jade's challengers, ended up losing to Jade, and then Trina raised Jade's hand and pretty much became like a baddie.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, man. I mean, this match was all right. It was fun. I'm
Yeah.
just. I feel like Jeff Jarrett feels out of place in AEW. Um, and I feel like um, I feel like them trying to push Darby onto us like I mean, 90 pounds soaking wet, and he can be like, I'm all for. I've always been a Shawn Michaels fan, a Brian Danielson fan. Like, I'm all for the little guy getting one up on the big guys and stuff like that. But man, that's really little. I mean,
So what is Satnam Singh there for? Like, is he ever going to do anything besides just stand around and be big?
um, negative Ghost Rider.
Yeah. So what's the point?
Negative.
Like, you don't even need you around, buddy.
I feel bad. I feel bad because he can actually wrestle, and I used to criticize him and call him Kali Junior, and yeah I felt bad that wasn't because he is a lot more athletic than the great Kali, moves around better than the Kali, but I just feel like Jay Lethal's not winning, so I mean, if Jay Lethal was winning because he had this big bad monster with him, that would be cool. But
Yeah.
Jay Lethal's still losing. So then it's like, so I agree with you. It is kind of like, what are you there for?
Yeah. And
If
I'm
you're
just
if you're
like,
not there to help my guy out, then
you're just
leave.
taking up space, man.
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
just taking up
absolutely.
space.
Brian Cage could be Jay Lethal's bodyguard. You know,
Exactly. And actually also be his tag team partner and win some matches.
yeah.
Both of them need a
Um,
character change.
so we kind of talked about this match a little bit. The AEW Women's Championship match. They keep using the word interim, which like I said, I feel like that's going to end very soon. Um, it was it was a damn good hard hitting match. you know, uh, I think Jamie's still a little green, but I think it's her time. The crowd is super behind her, and they have enough talent on that roster. There's enough talented women to help her, and for being green. So
Just how they've done
I don't
Jade
think that's
Cargill.
an issue. Exactly,
Yeah, because they've helped Jade a
exactly.
lot. Definitely, a lot of matches she's had. They've carried her through some good matches.
Yep. What'd you think about this match? Cool.
So Tony Storm to me is another. I love that women with the accents. So definitely Tony Storm fan. Um, I like that she's adaptable slightly. Like you can kind of put her with someone, and she can wrestle several different styles, even though she's a younger woman. Um, it wasn't the cleanest match, but like you said, Jamie Hayter's still kind of in that green process. Um, but they had to kind of break up this thing with her, Britt Baker, and Rebel, right? You just kind of had to get her away from them. They tried another way, but I think Soraya ended up kind of filling that role. So they had to go with a different way to get her away, and this was the way, especially if you're not going to get that rematch like you're speculating, which I kind of was thinking that too, right? Like we haven't seen her in a while, and she may not be back. I guess overall, I wouldn't say it was A match, maybe like a B minus match. The interruptions were not really necessary. I mean, we expected them to come, but not really necessary. And then
Yeah,
we know we're gonna get Britt talking about how if I hadn't turned the turnbuckle off, then you wouldn't have won, and blah 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 blah. So yeah, we're gonna get all that.
I agree. Hunter Dillon brings up a good point. He said Sean Spears made a good point tonight about the interim title on Twitter tonight. If you follow Sean Spears on Twitter, he said, can we stop? He goes, the interim stuff is bullshit. You're either a champion or you're not. So
Yeah, we don't. Yeah, I mean, I understood for CM Punk because you know, that was their big signing, and you didn't
yeah,
necessarily want to strip him as soon as he won. I
yep,
understood for Thunder Rosa because you did it for the guys. It's kind of like you got to do it for the women too. But at the
absolutely,
same point, like there should be a time limit. You can't
yep,
be interim champion for 6 months, right? Like you got to be
yeah,
champ. I didn't like that they took the belt off Moxley. Then he turns around and wins it back. Then they take him off of it again, and he turns around and wins it back. It was like, dude, just don't put the belt on him. Just give
yeah.
the belt to someone else. It's okay for someone other than John Moxley to be champion. It truly is okay.
Agreed, agreed. Um, which was crazy because after obviously all the stuff that happened at All Out, Moxley was supposed to leave and go on vacation,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, he's probably going to. He's probably elated.
yeah, yeah, yeah. If I was him, I would, absolutely. He's earned it. I think he deserves it, and yeah, um, definitely time for him to go head on vacation. Now, the next match we have is the AEW World Tag Team Championship matches. The Acclaimed versus Swerve in Our Glory.
Max Caster is wow.
I love Max Caster, man. I
He is
think
wild.
uh, I think he's great. I think Acclaimed is great. I think they've had a fantastic run. We kind of talk about this on the AEW Dynamite post show, where we kind of feel like AEW has kind of booked themselves into a corner because everybody wants FTR to go after the tag team titles. But if you send FTR after the Acclaimed, I don't know how long the Acclaimed is going to be the fan favorites anymore.
Yeah. So what you have to do is you've got a good thing you can do with FTR. They've got the Ring of Honor belts and other belts. So you can have teams start going for FTR to take away what they have. That's
Yeah,
how you keep them away from the Acclaim. Right? We want FTR versus Acclaim, but why? FTR has
yeah,
um like what, 3 sets of championships? You know, so they could be competing those championships. Why are we seeing FTR and thinking of them challenging for more gold when you can kind of separate them and let them do their own thing and let people challenge for those Ring of Honor championships. But see, you got to define a Ring of Honor roster.
Absolutely.
That's the tricky part. Who's going to actually
Absolutely.
split? Because you can't keep them together. You got to split.
So speaking of split, something that has been in the works for a while now, and I think is long, long overdue. The AEW is looking at, or as we saw tonight, the split between Swerve and Our Glory is um, all but finished. Obviously, I think on Dynamite, I think we'll finally get a turn. Um, after the events of tonight, with Swerve wanting to use a weapon and Keith Lee not happy about it. So, like I said, um, I think it's been long overdue. Although, for as long overdue as it was, I will say this: if if they would have cut it short sooner, we wouldn't have got that phenomenal segment with Rick Ross and Keith Lee, which was it's probably one of my favorite segments of the year. So with Rick Ross telling Keith Lee that he was that he was accusing people of stuff and being suspicious. So
Yeah, you gotta get Swerve a stable. Got to build him a stable. He's another small guy. He needs a stable.
yeah,
He doesn't need to be out there by himself.
yep. Watching from Dallas, Texas, David, I beg to differ on Trina and Jade Cargill. Jade Cargill will crush Trina. Stephanie Padilla, we appreciate you
And we
watching tonight.
definitely agree.
Absolutely, absolutely. Got two people watching from Dallas, Texas. That's crazy.
Hmm.
That's crazy. It must be something in your algorithm, cool, where you attract people from Dallas.
I don't know what to say, man. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. But here's the thing: Stephanie may not be a Cowboys fan either. So as long as she's not a Cowboys fan, we're good. We can have 20 people from Dallas.
Yeah, heard that. Wish I didn't, but I did. Um, so yeah, man. I mean, it. I don't really think this match was pointless because obviously, like Swerve and Our Glory had to get one more shot at the championships. I just
Yeah.
it was kind of like one of those things where it's like, man, we have been waiting and watching and waiting and waiting for this turn from Swerve and Our Glory that you knew that the match was like I said, it wasn't pointless, but you knew like what was going to happen. So I almost, dare I say, would have put this match on the pre-show, um, just to give another match an opportunity on the pay-per-view because, like I said, this match was extremely predictable. So
Yeah. You had to find a way you had to have a blow off match. You had to have a reason for the turn, for them splitting up. And I think you've set those things up. I'd like to see Keith Lee go get the TNT championship from Samoa Joe so we can all
absolutely,
bask in his glory.
that's right. Um,
For he is limitless.
that's right. His theme song is amazing.
I
It
actually listened
is
to it at the
amazing.
gym.
Which one, Limitless or his NXT
His
one?
A his AEW one is
Okay,
amazing. His NXT one is good, but the AEW one, yeah.
yeah,
You get ready to do
absolutely.
heavy sets, heavy short
Yep,
sets, throw that on
yep,
repeat.
that's right.
You think you're invincible for like 10 minutes, and then afterwards you'll be crying.
um, so the AEW Championship match, John Moxley against MJF. Um, I will tell you, I I didn't think, but I thought that it would be. I no, let me take that back. I didn't think it was going to happen, or like it wasn't one of ththose things where I was like, oh, it wasn't a prediction. I just told myself I was like, yo, Like I could see this happening, and that was CM Punk. I could have seen it happening. Obviously, it didn't. I didn't think it was going to happen. It wasn't like something where I was like, "Oh yeah, like that's a prediction," you know. But like I said, I wouldn't be surprised just because, um, prior to All Out, Tony Khan was very, very, very much a fanboy of CM Punk, and um, you know, the coming months there was zero to no mention of CM Punk at all. In fact, it was made to believe that everybody they're in a big legal battle, and CM Punk is so happy, and Tony Khan's attorneys had to fight this and fight that, et cetera, et cetera. And then when it was announced that the Elite was coming back, there was also pictures that people were taking at AEW live events where they were selling CM Punk merch again.
So here's the thing, man. What I've realized is the best way to settle legal disputes is in the wrestling ring.
Yeah, and that was kind of my thing is it was like, okay, if if those four guys could come to terms and say, hey, we want to make lots of money on this. Let's put our differences aside and let's make a shit ton of money.
Let's CM Punk grab him two guys because he's going to need some backup,
Yeah.
and let's go into 3-on-3 war.
Yeah, absolutely. FTR, of course.
FTR would be good, guys.
Yep.
You've got
Dante.
Swerve is out there kind of just chilling now.
Yeah.
Swerve might want to get involved.
Dante doesn't sleep, my friend. I've already established that. I don't think Dante may sleep 3 or 4 hours,
I
if
don't
even
think
that.
Dante sweats either. I think Dante takes like cat naps throughout the day, like 2 or 3 cat naps, and that's it.
Yep. Yeah. goes off and hides in the bathroom at work.
This
Sleeps
man be
for
on everything. You hear me? Coach Dante
everything.
is on everything. I'm just waiting for
Everything.
Coach Dante to come on play callers. You know what I'm saying? Coach
Yep.
Dante is everywhere.
Yep. We'll be live tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Sunday morning drive, and I promise you, I'll bet $10 that Dante will show up and say what up.
Hey, Coach Dante, shout out to you though. Coach Dante supports everything that his people do, and I appreciate that because everybody doesn't do
Absolutely.
that.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So big ups to that.
Absolutely.
But for the main event, man, it ended how it had to. Moxley has
Yep.
been champion longer than he wanted to. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Um, the whole Blackpool Combat Club, I feel like will continue. Um, but I feel like it'll obviously continue without William Regal.
Yeah.
So it may end up being something else or without Moxley one. But the thing is, they're all supposed to be quote unquote good guys. Besides, if you noticed, Brian Danielson has been coming out of the bad guy tunnel.
Yep.
So I think you may see Brian Danielson, MJF, William Regal on one end. I think you'll see Willa Yuta in the middle. You'll see Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli on the other side. And then Yuta's going to have to make a decision. So I think
Yeah.
Yuta's going to end up with Claudio and Moxley. And Sammy Guevara would be a great fourth person. Spanish God.
Can see it. Um,
It's all
yeah.
fantasy booking. If AEW does this, they owe me a check.
That's right. A big one. So we saw kind of a back and forth, and I'll tell you what I was really shocked about, and I'll bring this up. I I did DraftKings tonight because DraftKings had a free, like one of those pools for AEW. Um, and one of the questions they said, who will bleed tonight? And it was Moxley, MJF, or neither. And man, I'll tell you what, my finger hit Moxley with absolute sheer utmost confidence. I was 10,000% sure that Moxley was going to bleed because Moxley always bleeds.
That's a fair assumption.
And that son of a bitch didn't bleed tonight.
That's also a
so
fact.
I lost my DraftKings. Cool. Lost my DraftKings.
But you know what, Chase? Honestly,
Yeah.
man, I think any reasonable wrestling fan would pick that
Yeah.
because John Moxley always
Absolutely.
bleeds. It's like easy money. But of course, when you want him to, he doesn't. That's just
Yep.
John Moxley
Yep.
being John Moxley.
You know what I bet? I bet because they just recently started doing these DraftKings. I'll bet you. I'll bet you our guy Tony Khan was like, "Hey, no bleeding tonight."
Mm-hmm.
Yep, Connor
Hunter,
knows.
Hunter just said it.
Yeah. He said Chase and everybody else is going to pick Moxley to bleed tonight, but not tonight, guys.
Yep. Chase
We're
got
not
to lose,
bleeding
so
tonight.
no bleeding.
No bleeding. Um, yeah, man. I mean, the turn with William Regal. I think a lot of people saw it. William Regal has, showed expressed favorable interest in MJF,
A lot of
and
those segments, right?
yep,
And then just his mannerism. Like, William Regal is a weasel, right? Like, and I
yep,
mean that in the most respectful way possible.
yeah,
He is a bad guy.
yep,
You know what I'm saying? He is not a face. He is horrible as a face. He's like they're talking about hello, masked man, I could kiss you and all this weird stuff, right? He's not a good face. Right now, he can go up there and be a bad guy, and him and Chris
yeah,
Jericho can be best friends. This is going to be fun to watch.
yeah. I think that you know, obviously the Blackpool Combat Club. I'll be honest with you. My opinion is I think they'll dismantle. I
Yeah, I
think
think
that
they'll stick like they'll have something else or they'll have a connection. Some of them, but
yeah,
yeah, you could just go and continue it with him, Daniel Bryan, and MJF. And bring in
yeah,
a couple of more people that he likes, bad guys.
yeah. But like I said, I thought that the William Regal thing was. Uh, I was shocked that the firm didn't get involved. I thought the firm would get involved. So obviously, like the William Regal thing seemed like the easy call, but to me, like even days prior, I was like, oh yeah, the firm, especially Stokely Hathaway. If Paul Heyman wasn't around, Stokely Hathaway would be the greatest manager in
Stokely
all of sports
Hathaway
entertainment.
has lost his mind, and I love it.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Now, Ethan
Um,
Page needs to challenge for the AEW championship. I don't care if he wins or not
yeah,
because it's not about the win, right? What
yeah,
people have to understand in wrestling, it's about the opportunities.
yeah. I mean, I don't think Ethan Page can't talk on the mic. I think Ethan Page can hold his own. But I mean, if you put Ethan Page against MJF and you let Stokely Hathaway take the stick for Ethan Page, I think you're going to have gold on your hands with Stokely Hathaway, MJF. The dick riding license was one of my favorite things ever. I'm gonna put that on a meme, like, and that's gonna be the meme I share to everybody from now on. Okay, you're operating a dick riding license in an area where you can't operate a dick riding license. So, um, like I said, Stokely Hathaway is just that's my dude. I loved him in NXT as Malcolm Bivens.
Yeah,
Um,
the Diamond
was
Mind.
was very excited when he left, and
I like
it's
that
cool to see.
he used the Jade Cargill thing to get in the door,
Yep,
but
absolutely.
then like what I'm saying, now he's just like a different character. I like this hold the firm thing. Um, they have some studs there. I think the Ass Boys
Yep.
um because I'm always going to call them the
Will,
Ass Boys. They're always going to
yeah,
be the Ass Boys. Um,
absolutely. Will Morrissey.
yeah, W. Morrissey is perfect for a singles run. He's not straddled down with his boy Enzo, and you can't teach that. You
Yeah,
know, Ethan Page, and Lee Moriarty. Those are some really quality talents.
yep,
Somebody's got to break away though. Somebody's got to leave, and I think it's going to be Lee Moriarty because they're too big, right? Because you think about like a faction, the tag team. Well, you not necessarily need to. It depends on if Morrissey wants to be a champ or not. Because if Morrissey wants to be a champ, you're probably going to have him going after like the TNT championship. So, but if he just wants to be a big enforcer, then Moriarty could be the guy to go after the TNT championship. Morrissey could be the enforcer. And then of course Ethan Page is the guy that's going after the big belt. So you could make it
yeah,
work, but I think somebody will eventually leave to get it to dwindle the numbers just slightly. But Stokely Hathaway, it seems like he's managing all five guys. We got to see the Ass Boys do something because I'd love to see them have some matches here. I want to see them against Acclaim so bad so we can hear Ass Boys.
yeah. I yeah, they'll always be the ass boys to me. So um, I'll tell you what, man. The so now that we've kind of broken it down, we're at the end here. Cool. Tell me your final thoughts about the pay per view.
I think overall, I'd say it's probably a B, a solid B. We had some things that we expected to happen. We had the
Yep.
poor, in my opinion, job with the ending to the triple threat match. Samoa Joe as a double champ makes no sense, so that drags down your overall just confidence in the pay per view. Um, but you don't have a lot to complain about, but you can pick a
Yeah.
little bit, and you want to have a little something that's controversial. The ending, I think, was supposed to be controversial, but everyone knew, right? If you pay attention to any dirt sheets, if you follow things, you already knew at some point soon Moxley was going to lose the belt, so he'll go take his break, recharge, get himself right. We'll probably see a dismantling of the Batblue Combat Club. We'll see Cashinoli and Willie U to be a tag team for a while. Then we'll see Moxley come back. He'll go back to his raging insane solo self. He might possibly end up back with Eddie Kingston and Ortiz. That would be a dope little group to have, a little threesome. They could challenge for
Yeah.
the championships too. But yeah, Moxley reinvents himself about every 6 months or so anyway. So he'll leave for a few months. He come back, he'll be a little different. Maybe he'll hang out with his Blackpool Combat Club mates, whatever they call themselves at that point. But yeah, solid B. I mean, I wasn't overwhelmed like, oh, this is amazing, but I wasn't like, oh, this is garbage. I think when you watch AEW every week, you kind of get an idea of where they're going, what they're thinking. Tony Khan's more easier to read than Triple H. So
Absolutely.
I think you kind of have an idea of where things are going. When it plays out that way, you're like, okay, now the way it may play out may be a little different, but it is what it is.
Yep.
I'll
I
never get
uh,
right.
I I I'll tell you what, man. I agree. Like I said, I hope AEW continues a little bit of momentum. Um, I said after the media scrum uh, that the product that they were putting on after the media scrum without Kenny and the Bucks and Punk and everything was so much better, and it was getting really good. And then it kind of went through a stalemate. You know, like I said, I hope that I hope that they can pick up off of this. MJF is champion. Um, uh, and hopefully with MJF as champion going into the new year, hopefully they're able to carry that momentum. So, um, any other final thoughts? Cool.
Let me think here. I was glad that I got to see a pay per view with Jade Cargill, Saraya, and Tony Storm on it wrestling. That was present for me.
Absolutely.
Uh,
Absolutely, my friend.
Also, man, um, big ups to MJF. Like, I like to hate MJF. Like, MJF as the person is probably a cool guy. But I mean, I saw an interview he did where he said Triple H is on his Mount Rushmore. And he was asked why. And he said, you could put Triple H across the ring from anyone. And the other person is automatically going to be liked because he's against Triple H. And that's why he loves Triple H.
Yeah. Yep. Hunter always did a very good job of making his opponents look really good, and then also making them making them the top top faces because he was always the top heel. Yeah, Hunter's always been great on that. So um, I'll tell you what. Like I said, man, I'm very excited. Hopefully this turns into something. Speaking of Triple H, guys, tune in next Saturday. Not this late, but tune in next Saturday. Cool and I are going to do a watch along with
Mm-hmm.
Survivor Series, just like we did with Clash at the Castle. Obviously, for copyright reasons, we cannot put the show on the stream, but we will be live reacting. So come join us, come hang out with us, live react with us, talk with us about the batches and stuff. David, Stephanie Padilla, David Burns, we appreciate you guys coming in here. Hunter, appreciate you coming. Coach Dante, Jake, um, Key, ABJ, Jeremy B, everybody who jumped in this morning. We appreciate you guys joining. Sports Empire Network is growing like crazy, guys. If you guys have not, make sure you like, follow, hit the
Subscribe.
hit the subscribe button. Also, make sure that you hit the notification bell so you never miss anything from Sports Empire Network. The AEW Dynamite show goes live every Wednesday, about 15 minutes after Dynamite. So make sure you check that out as well. Um, cool. Let's take a minute, plug your shows, my friend.
All right. So we'll do Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. NFL Matchup Madness. We're covering every matchup every week. That's on playcollegesportstalk.com/live. Also on playcollegesportstalk.com/live. On Friday nights, Play College Sports Talk Show, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Um, we just kind of talk mostly basketball, college baseball. College football and basketball, women's basketball as well, WNBA, NFL. We'll be doing some XFL. We'll be interviewing players from other football leagues. So just kind of, getting in there, doing some things a little bit different from everybody else, but, still talking about those things that people want to hear about. Because if you don't want to hear about what we're talking about, why would you watch? And then
Exactly.
on Wednesday nights, the Eagles Elite podcast. That's at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's at youtube.com/at Eagles Elite Podcast. Also, the NFC Beast Show on Saturday nights at 9 p.m., which I will not be doing next week because I have a prior engagement with Mr. Chase here. But you can check that out. That's at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That also plays on the Eagles Elite channel on YouTube. And then Friday nights, 10 p.m., and one podcast, Sports Empire Network. It's a wild show, y'all. It goes off the rails a lot. When Freddie shows up, when Marcus shows up, it gets crazy.
Man, you ain't kidding. I'll tell you what, man. I miss watching people getting into those yelling fights with Freddie, and then I had to get into a yelling match with Freddie a couple times when I joined the morning show with Key, man.
It's a rite of
Uh,
passage. If you don't fuss with Freddie, you're not doing something right.
oh man, he came right for my throat, and I was like, okay, not today. I told Freddie, I said, you had me ready to give you my resignation to Sports Empire, my friend. I said you can't do that. um, Again, cool. Why don't you let everybody know where they can find you on social media, my friend?
Instagram at cool_McCain, at Twitter, in case it sticks around, at Cool McCain, and Facebook Cool McCain. Keep it pretty simple, man. Keep it pretty simple. Also on IG, you can find me at Play College Sports Talk Show. on Twitter at Real Play Callers.
Absolutely. My social media tag is very easy to find, guys. At CR Media 1988. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, YouTube, all of the above. Like I said, I'll be up here early in the morning tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. Central Standard Time, 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Sunday morning drive on Sports Empire Network, where we break down all of the games on Sunday and Monday night and give predictions. It's lots of fun. It doesn't really go off the rails. I tend to keep those guys in line, especially because it's early in the morning. Smoking Jeremy B gets a little wild, but I got crack the whip a little bit. But other than that, we have a good time, and so
I'm gonna crash 1
uh,
week, man.
absolutely. I got a Martin Livewire in there, Smoking Jeremy B and Dylan, and then I think Gene might be coming on tomorrow. I don't know. There was a time confusion last time with Gene, but we'll find out. Davis says, "What are y'all's predictions on the next pay per view? You want to do some quick fire predictions? Why not? The people asked for it. Cool.
Sure, why not?
Give the
Got to
people
give
what
the people
give the
what they
people what
want.
they want.
Absolutely.
Absolutely." Absolutely. Let's get the Survivor Series card up here on my phone here, and we'll do some quick rapid fire predictions for David and Stephanie, both from Dallas, watching us. That's crazy. All right, all right. Bianca Belair's team to take on Damage Control in War Games.
I'm going with the EST of the WWE.
I am too, man. Because let me tell you why. I think the fifth person of Bianca Belair's team is going to be Charlotte Flair.
Or Naomi
Could be
with a better move set instead of a butt drop in your face to finish you.
a butt drop. All right, so Bianca Belair for that match.
Yeah,
Ronda Rousey versus Shotzi for the SmackDown Women's Championship.
this is the easiest match to pick on the whole card. Ronda Rousey.
Yep, I'm very happy that Shotzi's getting the title shot, but it's Ronda Rousey's match. I think some point Shayna Baszler is going to turn on Ronda
And beat
um,
her.
and beat her. I think that I honestly could see it happening to where Shayna wins the Women's Royal Rumble. Um, so I don't think they're going to do a legit, like turn. I think that Triple H will kind of pull in his back pocket the old Batista Evolution storyline, have
Oh yeah,
Shayna win the Royal Rumble, and then Shayna challenges um, Ronda Rousey all day. Yep.
yeah.
AJ Styles versus Finn Balor.
I want Finn Balor. I think Finn Balor needs to win. Here's what we got to realize: AJ Styles is set no matter where he's been a multiple time world champion. He's been a
Yep.
multiple time Intercontinental champion, United States champion.
Yep.
Whatever.
WWE has put the company on AJ Styles' back. They have
Yeah.
trusted AJ Styles. They have showcased AJ Styles very well. They
Hmm.
have not done the same thing for Finn Balor, and it's not fair.
And
Because
it's
Finn
time
is
for
a phenomenal
WWE's
wrestler.
Judgment Day.
Yep, that's right. That's right. I like that pick. Here's my next one: the Brawling Brutes, Drew McIntyre and Kevin Owens versus the Bloodline.
It's going to be a bloodline. It's going to be the bloodline. But
I, I,
something stupid, something weird is going to happen with Sami Zayn, but the bloodline's still going to win because they have the head of the table, the tribal chief.
I I don't think that Roman takes the pin. Obviously, I could see Sammy or Jimmy or maybe even Jay. Jay's the one that Sammy that doesn't get along with Sammy, right?
You know what? I'm thinking the old Survivor Series where it's like you pin to the end thing. Yeah, they're gonna lose because yeah, it's Jay and Sammy are gonna get into it, and something
Yep.
stupid's gonna happen, and then Sammy's not gonna want to fight Kevin
KO.
Owens and Kevin Owens is going to get Jey Uso in, and that's going to start the friction between Sammy and the Bloodline. Yeah,
I'll tell you what, man. I had a moment of
you're right.
ignorance because, um, uh, and I thought like, hey, I knew Kevin Owens was going to be the last member of the team, and I was like, that's not going to be a big deal. Like nobody's going to care. And then Friday on SmackDown, when Kevin Owens' music hit, the crowd went nuts. They erupted. Um, I I absolutely and I like how hyped the crowd got about Kevin Owens being out there. I got hyped as well. And then when he hit Roman with the stunner, I was like, man. So I don't know, man. Like I said, I can see it going both ways, but my prediction is the Brawling Brutes, Drew McIntyre, and Kevin Owens.
Yeah, that's right. Because
So
it's not an elimination match. Like it's just one pin. So yeah, you're right.
yep. All
I'm
right.
thinking, yeah.
All right, sir. Well, David, Stephanie, we appreciate you guys sticking with us. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Make sure you guys tune in next weekend during Survivor Series, not after Survivor Series. It'll be during Survivor Series. We're gonna watch it. We're gonna watch it with you guys, comment with you guys, talk about what we liked, what we didn't like with you guys, and whatnot. So again, we greatly appreciate everybody who joined with us tonight. This was lots of fun. I did not plan on staying up till 12:30, but it works out.
Nor did I at
Um,
1:30, but hey, whatever.
yeah. Make sure you tune into the Sunday morning drive tomorrow on Sports Empire Network, and then uh, Jake squaddled out of here real quick when I started talking shit on the Chargers. But with that being said, go Chiefs, baby, go Chiefs.
Fly Eagles fly.
I hear you, brother. I hear you. Um, Man, what a great job they're doing, dude. What a great job they're doing. I'll tell you what. I don't know if you saw it or not, but there was a video circling on social media where the general manager uh, he went up to sign an autograph for somebody on the field, and there was a group of fans, and one of the fans had a sign that said "We forgive you," and he was like, "You forgive me?" He goes, "I brought you a fucking Super Bowl." He was like, fuck you, and fuck you."
I saw it.
Oh man, I love it. I love it, dude. I immediately became a fan. As soon as I saw him do that, I was
He's
like, that's
lucky.
my
He's
dude.
lucky. He's lucky that wasn't me. Because I
Yeah.
would have yelled I would have yelled expletives and said, "Jalen freaking Rieger, you a hole. You need to be forgiven."
Yeah. Yeah, man. It's gonna be a good day tomorrow. So who the Eagles got tomorrow?
The Colts.
Hmm. Have fun with that.
Yeah, angry Eagles team against the Colts.
Yeah.
This is going to be a good football. I'll definitely be watching.
Yeah. Uh yeah. Watch the Jeff Saturday coached Colts try and
Hmm.
beat the Eagles, who just came off of a tough loss in the division.
An
I hope you
embarrassing,
guys.
stupid loss.
I hope you guys smoke them.
So do I,
I
sir.
hope y'all. I hope y'all smoke them.
So do I.
All right, cool. Again, appreciate you joining with me tonight. Appreciate everybody who
Absolutely.
joined in the chat. Appreciate you guys watching. It was a great night um, for wrestling, for sports in general. Man, we had so much stuff going on, but
Yep.
again, have a fantastic night, guys. For Sports Empire Network, make sure you follow, hit the subscribe button, hit that like button, and that's it, guys.
One last thing. MJF is your AEW World Heavyweight Champion. Deal with it.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I'm going to end this every single way that I end. Um, we're going to end this every single way that I end the AEW Dynamite post show, and that is good fight and good night.
And